it with a drink. I will fix 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 it with a drink. I will fix. Oh, she had my socks in with very deep in the room underneath some prickles. I did not know what to do when the witch doctor me the truth. This woman had me lined up to divorce you. Hey, I will fix it with a drink. 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 She gonna tell the pastor on me. He blocked my eye and he lay hands on me. Now I in church playing Christian, but Sister Mary just tell me she wants some. I will fix it, take me to drink. I will fix it, take me to drink. I will fix it, take me to drink. I will fix it, take me to drink.
Tonight, union members back to pounding the pavement after the Prime Minister reiterates that money won't be received until right before Christmas. This as parliamentarians also debate some crime legislation, and later, a family desperate for answers following the death of their loved one. Eyewitness News starts now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Janae Noel. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping news tonight, more political aspirants are appearing before the Progressive Liberal Party's Candidates Committee this afternoon. This as we draw closer to a general election. The governing party has yet to ratify any candidates, but has been meeting with various individuals from last week. We understand that the ratification process could wrap up for some as early as this week. Our Jose Etienne, he's standing by tonight at the PLP headquarters with the details. Jose?
Well, Janae, it's pretty much an animated scene here at the Cylinder Pendling Center here on Farrington Road as scores of PLP supporters have swamped this environment to throw their support behind the assortment of political hopefuls and sitting members of parliament who have come here to be interviewed by the Candidates Committee. Now, Janae, when I arrived here moments ago, and based on the persons who were making their way here, there was lots of junkanoo music, lots of fanfare, lots of cheers. Persons who were coming to be interviewed were met with loud, vibrant cheers as they made their way into the hall to be interviewed. We understand the Prime Minister and, of course, Party Leader Philip Davis is inside, accompanied by the Deputy Leader and Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, along with the party's Chairman Foreign Affairs, Minister Fred Mitchell. Now, among the flock of supporters here, Janaea, are scores of individuals from the Michael constituency. We know that's the southern constituency, and a number of individuals have so far been interviewed. Among them, a noted businessman, Mr. Robert Depuch Karen, who's going to join me right now for this live. Mr. certainly a privilege.
How you doing?
All is well, sir. Of course, you were in there getting interviewed moments ago. Let's talk about that process.
Yeah, it was a bit intimidating, but it was to be there and to vote. You can't hope for change. You got to vote for change, and so I wanted to sell the points of what suffering people of Michael.
You said long suffering. I spoke with some residents. Past 4 years, they feel as though there's been little to no representation. And we see even now the outgoing member of parliament has decided to not seek re-election. Let's talk about that and plans for the constituency.
But we have to have public-private partnerships, and we have to do things differently if I were to move ahead. And that's what I hope that I can bring, a different approach.
And let's talk about Michael. Why Michael?
Bahamas in 1962. My uncle presented in Agua, Bernard Depuch. My other uncle, who taught the Prime Minister law, the Honourable Eugene Depuch, represented Crooked Island. So Ackland's and Michael's in my blood. So I wanted to go down there and I wanted to do something different. And so that's it. And I hope you guys will come and criticize us and compliment us if we do things good.
Well, Janaea, not sure if the departure of the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister Philip Davis means that the interview session has been wrapped up, but not sure if you saw moments ago, Prime Minister is now about to leave, the Deputy Prime Minister is about to leave. But so far, we spoke with Mr. Karen. He's just a part of a number of political hopefuls who've been interviewed, another from Michael. We have others from constituencies here in New Providence, others from the family islands. We see there's a number of incumbent members of parliament, including the Social Services Minister Miles Lorota, Minister of Agriculture Jomo Campbell, sitting MP for Mount Moriah, Michael Barnaby. They're all expected to be interviewed today. And we understand, Janea, by tomorrow there's going to be a confirmation exercise that's going to be publicized. We understand that Senator Darren Pickstock will be ratified as the PLP's nominee for the Golden Isles constituency. We know that void has been created as a result of the sudden death of the former Environment and Natural Resources Minister Vaughn Miller, who died on September 28th. And so, again, there are swirling talks about a by-election. We've heard from party insiders that one will be held, but we await for the Prime Minister to say yay or nay. Aside from the ratification of Darren Pickstock, we hear that the Member of Parliament for Golden Gates, Pia Glover, will be ratified. We heard that the Member of Parliament for Garden Hills, Mario Boleg, will also be ratified. We also heard that the Member of Parliament for the Seabreeze area, Leslie Miller-Bice, will be ratified. And so, Janea, while there's a lot happening now, and you could hear in the back of me loud cheers. And so while this is still developing, we do expect for lots of activity to happen tomorrow during that ratification exercise. But Janea, I'm going to be standing by here almost for the entire night once this is wrapped up, and we'll be able to provide further updates into all that's expected as the PLP at some time prepares to roll out its slate as we prepare for the next general election. Standing by here live from the Sir Lyndon Pindling Center here on Farrington Road, sending it back to you, Janea.
Thanks so much, our Jose Etienne, reporting live tonight. We also understand that Senator Barry Griffin also appeared before the candidate selection committee, and he is vying for the Fort Charlotte seat. It's a story we will continue to follow tonight. Meantime, Prime Minister Philip Davis under fire by union heads once again as tensions boiled over outside Parliament. This morning, it's the second wave of protests to erupt, not only here in the capital, but in Grand Bahama as well. Union leaders and public servants are demanding answers on long-standing salary issues. They're accusing the government tonight of stalling. Our Lyndon Ritchie Jr. has the latest from the front lines of the unrest.
Hours of chanting as union members once again made their way from the old City Market lot on Market Street to the halls of Parliament, eager to get an audience with Prime Minister Philip Davis after he canceled a meeting with union heads on Tuesday. Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson, the Bahamas Public Services Union led by Kimsey Ferguson, and members of the Bahamas National Alliance of Trade Union Congress not backing down from the nation's leader, who in a national address on Tuesday night noted that he doesn't subscribe to cussing and carrying on. In their attempt to get Davis' attention, union members flocked to Parliament, but Davis would stand his ground.
Prime Minister Philip Davis has just exited Parliament. He's being heavily guarded by a number of authorities, walking away from the crowd of disaffected public servants.
This garbage! I can't! This garbage!
The people waited for him to speak to us. Instead, we got the backs of the vehicles. Blatant disrespect.
Davis' refusal to publicly address members, according to Wilson, was a slap in the face.
If you say you care, you say you want respect, you say you're working for the people, well, these are the people, and you should address them.
On Tuesday night, in a national address, Davis accused union heads of causing public drama and sending public threats, noting, quote, real progress happens when grown men and women sit down, listen, and reason with each other. All claims union leaders denied. Wilson noted the only persons threatened were public servants after they were allegedly told participants in the peaceful protest could result in a pay cut.
It's a threat of touching someone's pocket that they know is what touches someone's heart. And so you're low, you're nasty, and you're dirty.
But teachers still showed up, ditching fair for solidarity and what they say is a fight for what they deserve.
We work long, tired hours, weekends, overtime, all the time, and they didn't even consider teachers in their review. That's just bad and poor taste.
I'll be the same person who said he was giving us the money with the goodness of his heart. I want to know where his heart is and his foot.
Now, with Davis remaining silent on if changes to the promised payments will occur before December, union heads emphasized to them the deal is simple. Payments retroactive back to September 2024 and should be included in the October pay cycle. And if not,
We now have to go back into our arsenal, and everybody needs to stay tuned.
Lyndon Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Protest is once again putting spotlight on the growing cost of living. Here in the Bahamas, with inflation and stagnant wages, more of those protesters speaking out, with our Delano Roker today, insisting that the pressure is not mounting not only on the streets, but also in their pockets.
Voices echo with frustration, fatigue, and firm demands following the latest protests by union members, despite assurances by Prime Minister Philip Davis that funds promised would be paid before Christmas. But according to workers, that payday is coming a little too late.
I need to clean up a month, and I start campaigning from last night. You say what you say. You don't love me. You hate us. Come on, pay the money. Pay my money. Look all these people here. They have children. They have mortgages. Pay the money. They are asking you for what is yours. You don't be asking for what is ours.
The cost of living crisis is being felt deeply, especially in critical sectors like healthcare, where many say access to quality services is slipping further from reach, and the delays are hurting households.
Autism is not cheap. My child have to do speech therapy. My child have to do. Because y'all ain't have no school for my child. My child now attending Tiny Tots, and the government telling you call you up to have this paperwork in order to put them in school. So you don't have no choice but to pay for this.
The issues on display today aren't new. Protesters say successive administrations have made promises, but little progress. Now, with a key by-election on the horizon, many are hoping their vote will speak louder than their protest signs.
Golden hours, it starts with you. It starts with golden hours. Okay? We're going to start with golden hours. The by-election is going to come, and we're going to start with golden hours. I am a proud constituent of golden hours. Polling division 12. I've always respect the man who was in, which was Vaughn Miller, which I haven't seen in 5 years. Okay? I am not going to vote for the party. I am going to vote for the man. So it starts with golden hours.
Today's protest highlights the people's plight, but will their voices be heard, or will the by-election signal the first sign of a change? Delano Roker, Eyewitness News.
Well, as tensions continue to rise between the government and union leaders, as hundreds of those public servants protested on Bay Street, demanding the immediate payout of promised salary increases, Eyewitness News turning to social media, posing the question, do you think this dispute could influence how people vote in the next general election? 86% of participants voted definitely, 7% voted possibly, 4% voting unlikely, and 3% voting no, not at all. Continue to participate in our daily digital polls. Your voice matters. Well, as tensions simmered in Rawson Square today, opposition leader Michael Pintard launching a sharp rebuke at the Davis administration, accusing government of patting itself on the back for industrial agreements while union unrest continues. Pintard says prioritizing middle management over frontline workers raises some serious questions about government's claims of being labor-friendly. Meanwhile, the coalition of independence leader Lincoln Bain also criticizing Prime Minister Philip Davis on his national address, noting that he believes it's an attack on union heads who are simply fighting for the people.
The government continues to talk about all of the agreements that they have signed, but the union leaders have made it clear that at the end of the day, the government is the biggest breachers of all of those agreements. Many matters are before the tribunal. There are salary reviews that still haven't been done, despite what the Prime Minister said last night. UB is but one example. And so again, when he talks about fairness, people know that that is a joke, that he can't be serious about fairness when you have the top tier of the public service have such a massive difference in salary, in living allowance and other benefits when compared to the average member of the public service. And then, of course, worse than that is the fact that the government continues to hire consultants at extremely high prices, and they don't reveal. We know that it's in excess of $80 million every year the government is paying, and mostly to persons who they could not again, help to get a job in the private sector, because the economy is not growing under Davis, no matter what he says.
Well, as we said, the coalition of independence leader Lincoln Bain also had criticisms for Davis.
Tell people how loud they should talk when they are hurting. Don't no shouting and no cussing. Well, when people are hurting and suffering, people will shout. People will cuss. That's what humans do when they are in pain. We are in pain when we go to the grocery store, when we get our light bills. We are in pain everywhere we look. When we go to the hospital and can't get a bed, we are in pain. When we call an ambulance and there's no ambulance for us, we are in pain. When we call the police and there's no police car available, we are in pain. And so the people are going to shout and cuss, and I call on the Prime Minister to humble himself. Remember that you are our worker. You work for us. And so I'm out here to go to whatever extent that the union is willing to go to and to demand that these people get their money now.
Well, the Davis administration finally making those salary reviews public. Tonight, the Prime Minister is defending the rationale and what many has called a delay. Devontae Hanna is live tonight with the breakdown. Devontae?
Tell people how loud they should talk when they are hurting. Don't no shouting and no cussing. Well,
Well, Janae, it's being called the most comprehensive salary review in decades, a deep dive into the pay structure of middle management and technical officers across the Bahamian public service. Now, in his national address last night, Prime Minister Philip Davis said the review was initiated by his government and not unions to ensure every public officer is paid fairly.
I want to speak to you directly tonight. I don't need any third party between the conversation of me and you.
The 85-page report called the Salary Review for Middle Management and Technical Officers paints a revealing picture. Many workers are earning below what benchmark data say they should. Analysts found that pay ranges are often too tight, meaning limited room for salary growth over time. It also found that in some ministries, employees performing similar roles are being paid at different levels, while in others, low-grade officers earn nearly the same as their supervisors.
Salaries had been stagnant. Promotions were delayed. Contract workers were stuck in limbo. Pensioners were struggling to live on fixed incomes that hadn't been adjusted in years.
This prompting the review, which used data-driven tools to identify where salaries fell short, which is why the Davis administration says they felt the review was important before payments were made in September, which was then pushed back to before Christmas, leading to widespread frustration.
The delay was not a cash flow problem. It was an administrative process, making sure the new salary adjustments for more than 15,000 public officers were accurate, fair, and done right the first time.
The review includes middle management officers like clerical staff, supervisors, and department heads, and technical officers like those in engineering and IT. It leaves out the uniform branches and healthcare workers, but the Prime Minister says not for long.
The same methodology will be applied to ensure increases are extended across the wider public service. This includes our teachers.
Prime Minister Davis committed to broader salary adjustments in an effort to close out the wage gap while maintaining the suggestion of raising pay for public servants was a decision of his government without union negotiation.
The union leaders have to do their jobs to represent their members, but I have to do mine to represent all Bahamians. My responsibility is not only to one group, but to every citizen who depends on a strong, stable country.
Well, so far, the administration says thousands of workers have benefited from the first phase of salary adjustments, with more categories under review. But as pay scales are restructured, many will be watching whether the government's promise of fairness translate into real dollars in Bahamian workers' pockets. Janelle?
Thanks so much, our Devontae Hanna, live tonight. Meantime, Education Director Dominic McCartney-Russell revealing a total of 36% of teachers absent from the classroom today in connection with that protest, a figure that represents 1 in 3 educators across the country, especially here in the capital, where the protest's impact was felt the most.
We canvassed all of the district superintendents, and of course they met with the principals, and the reports that we received from our public schools indicated that there were some teacher attendance issues today. Of the total teaching workforce of some 3,186 teachers, we had a total of 1,135 teachers who were absent today, which represents 36% of our complement. New Providence accounted for the majority of these absences, with 816 teachers who did not report today. And so we had to close 6 of the 161 public schools due to those operational challenges.
While not offering comments on whether teachers would face repercussions on the absentees, McCartney Russell maintains that the ministry has a contingency plan in place which was utilized today to protect against major disruptions.
We do have a contingency plan in place, and that is what we utilized today, and we will continue to use that plan as best we can given the circumstances. We sought to utilize the support of our partners, and we rotated some of our staff.
Meantime, head of government business in the House of Assembly, National Security Minister Wayne Monroe clarifying in Parliament that only an effective time, not a date, was issued for payment to public servants. This as protesters took to the streets over monies promised. His comments came as the St. Barnabas MP, Shannon Cartwright, quoted that one protester claimed that she was counting on that money to take care of some medical expenses.
Have communicated in this Parliament was for middle managers, which was in the pay package at the end of July. I think the record would show that what's communicated for others was a date, the 1st of September, which is an effective date, and the 1st of September is not a government payday, and it wasn't represented as a payday from my recollection and examination. I have no quarrels with people having an expectation that may not be grounded in fact. But my understanding is the effective date of the Deloitte adopted payment scheme is the 1st of September. And everyone in the public service knows that if it's the 1st of September, that means if you jump through all the hoops and it's October, you get September's increase on October, and if it's November and December. The Prime Minister has been quite clear. The payment will be made for Christmas. These are unions who have negotiated agreements with this government when the previous administration only took them to court when they tried to negotiate. We signed 50-plus agreements. They signed none. We reinstated increments, which would give these persons who are having difficulties that bit of money every month. And so it is inaccurate to say that there was any representation of a payment date.
Well, Leader of the Opposition Michael Pintard calling Prime Minister Philip Davis's chastisement of union leaders disrespectful. His comments came during a live response to the Prime Minister's national address last night, in which Davis accused union leaders of grandstanding, calling for mutual respect. Pintard argues that the Prime Minister's failure to meet with union executives as promised goes against what a nation's leader is required to do. He's urging Davis to focusing on handling national issues in a better way.
The Prime Minister says he doesn't need to speak to the middleman. He needs to speak to you. But the truth is, he's not listening to you. And the law requires him to have discussions with union leaders. Disrespectful. No matter how soft a tone, how quiet he appears to present himself, that is a sign of disrespect. Because Bahamians are tired of speeches that celebrate progress they cannot feel. You can't feed your family with promises. You can't pay rent with rhetoric.
Pintard says he listened to union leaders during the last week and felt that they were very respectful, while accusing the Prime Minister of going against his word of supporting workers in the country. He also made mention of the Memorandum of Understanding the Davis administration made with the Trade Union Congress, although TUC affiliates are seemingly not participating in the strike.
And they were right to demand of their government clarity. After collecting billions in taxes, spending millions on travel and entertainment and no-bid contracts, the government is now asked to be accountable to its workers, those who are working behind the scenes. It is not respect to then accuse those workers when they stand up of just making noise and shouting, a process you claim you will not participate in. What has happened to partnership? I remind the public that this is the same Prime Minister who lobbied for and signed a memorandum of understanding with unions ahead of the last general election, in case any member of the public forgets.
Are unions helpful or harmful? It's a question left pondering on the minds of many following recent unrest in country that has nearly taken over downtown Bay Street and redirected traffic in many areas. Our Laurencia Smith taking to the streets to find out just how workers feel. She filed this report.
Veteran trade unionist Robert Farquharson says union leaders of today must recognize that their approach to addressing workers' issues has changed. For decades, unions have been a cornerstone of the country's labor force, shaping the nation's history since the 1950s and even before that. In 2025, that fight continues, with unions still marching and advocating for workers' rights across the country.
The fight has changed, the struggle has changed, and the methodology used back in the 1970s and 1960s, they have to be adjusted to meet the challenge of the 21st century. I think some unions have adopted, some unions have not adopted.
For the second week in a row, members of the Bahamas Public Service Union, led by President Kimsley Ferguson, joined forces with the Bahamas Union of Teachers, headed by Belinda Wilson, to protest long overdue pay increase and other pressing workplace issues.
But unions today, I believe, should focus more on building relationships with the private sector, with the public sector, with other organizations to work together to improve the standard of living and quality of life for all of the workers who they represent.
There are some 50 registered trade unions in the country. And despite what's taken place, Farquharson says that he believes that unions are still necessary in this day and age, and added that unions can be helpful and harmful depending on the situation. That's the same question we placed to members of the public.
Many years ago, I used to work to Atlantis. And the union is, to me, they covered me from laws that people put in place to oppress Bahamians.
I feel that unions are necessary.
Why?
Because that's the representative. They represent the persons who cannot speak for themselves. I feel more places need more union representation.
Prime Minister Davis touted the fact that his administration has negotiated and signed some 59 industrial agreements while highlighting other labor reforms that they've completed under their term. But is that enough to say that labor relations are healthy in the country? This particular administration?
At this point in time, no. And that's all I have to say.
Be more. I think the minimum wage can go up a bit more. So on the people, we should focus on how they hear their cry.
On a good job, we have to wait on some things. The Bible says wait and be of good courage.
Laurencia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Eyes are back on North Eleuthera, the North Eleuthera MP, Sylvanus Petty, that is, who announced today that he will be seeking re-election in his constituency, despite previously telling media that he's bowing out of the upcoming general election. Our Jose Etienne has the details tonight.
A change of heart for North Eleuthera's Member of Parliament, Sylvanus Petty, who's no longer exiting the political ring despite previously revealing in May that he would.
Yes, I made up my mind to run again. I will be putting myself forward.
He's also reversing course with Prime Minister Philip Davis's blessing.
I just spoke to the Prime Minister, so I'm good to go.
Why the switch?
Not at this time. Not at this time.
While he remains tight-lipped, his comments back in May drew strong reaction as Petty made it clear what his ambition was once he wrapped up his political sabbatical.
I'm going to take a break, 5 years, and when I come back, I'm coming back to be the Prime Minister of the Bahamas. Mark my word. Well, it's some things that I have to strategize. It's a strategy that I'm trying to deal with right now, so to get me in place to be the next Prime Minister.
Time will tell if Petty will be one of the several incumbent members of Parliament to receive the governing Progressive Liberal Party's nod. As the next general election inches closer, others are gunning for his spot, including veteran local government official J.J. Percenti.
I have not gotten a tap. I have definitely gotten a lot of connection with
FNMs and PLPs, younger voters, as well as stalwart councillors. I think a lot of people see me and I'm accessible, and I think they can see tangible items that I've achieved. I also think that they can see that we have a vision, and I think working together to achieve that vision, a lot of people want to be a part of.
Now, North Eleuthera has proven to be a battleground constituency in recent years, but notwithstanding claims from residents that Petty barely had government support in the area, coupled with persistent utility woes, Petty believes North Eleutherans could stay loyal to the PLP.
We're going to have the same support as we did in the last election. So I'm confident that we're going to win it. I mean, it's a lot of work to do. So with the water, the generators, and the airport, I think we are in pretty good standings right now. Meanwhile, the Free National Movement has confirmed its nominee, former MP Howard Ricky Mackey, who Petty unseated in the 2021 general election. Jose Etienne, Eyewitness News.
Well, the Grand Bahama Power Company releasing its fuel charge rate for the month of October 2025. It's set at 0.19 per kilowatt hour. According to the company, this rate expected to be reflected in consumer bills this month. GP Power continues to encourage its consumers to conserve energy, noting that doing so can help significantly reduce overall power costs. And for comparison, the fuel rate stood at some 0.18 in July, peaked at 0.23 cents in August, and settling now on 0.19 cents in September, a story we are continuing to follow. Meantime, months after a Bahamian man was killed in Haiti, his grieving family is still locked in a painful battle to have his body returned home. Arlington Ritchie Jr. has the details in this report tonight.
Family members of 42-year-old Joey Alexander Russell, the Bahamian slain on a speed vessel in Haitian waters during an alleged botched drug smuggling operation, still wrestling with local and international authorities to bring their loved ones' remains back home. Russell was one of two Bahamian men killed on July 13th after Haitian authorities say they intercepted the vessel and reportedly seized more than 90 kilograms of cocaine. His sister, Sherry Russell, telling Eyewitness News their reality of the grieving family. Tireless calls, unanswered letters, and broken hearts.
No one is assisting us at this time. So right now we are at a standstill. We don't know what to do.
The family claiming that communication with Bahamian embassy officials in Haiti have gone radio silent since August and alleges that assistance from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have fallen through. So what exactly is the holdup?
They're asking for a letter from the Ministry of Health. They're asking for a letter from Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You're still waiting on the doctor in Haiti to sign off on a paper. We don't know who the doctor is that refused to sign off on the paper.
Russell claims officials from the MOFA told the family movement of the body would be logistics covered by the chosen mortuary services. In a statement to Eyewitness News, officials of Eternal Rest Mortuary says, quote, despite our continued efforts fulfilling all requirements and maintaining regular contact with the mortician in Haiti, we have reached a standstill. We are therefore appealing for urgent intervention from the relevant government agencies. And with his family paying bills in full, including airline transportation for Russell's remains, their plight is simple.
Oh, we're not looking for any financial assistance from the government or anything. We just want whatever paperwork is needed. We just want the government to produce these documents.
Eyewitness News reached out to Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell for comment, but he declined. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Meantime, parliamentarians debating the smuggling of migrants bill today. Mover of that bill, the National Security Minister Wayne Monroe, detailing that it speaks to the criminalization of migrant smuggling in the Bahamas. Individuals or organized criminal groups arrested for such activity could face fines as up to $100,000, 7 years imprisonment, or both. If convicted, individuals could also face fines up to $200,000, 10 years in prison, or both. According to Monroe, the bill's jurisdiction also extending inside and outside of the Bahamas, especially in circumstances where the Bahamas is the receiving country, a transit country, or where the smuggling activity begins or transits through Bahamian territory.
While prosecuting individual smugglers is crucial, these legal concepts are what really dismantle the criminal business model and attack the smuggling enterprise at its root. In addition to individualities, the bill allows for the confiscation of assets and restitution to victims.
Parliamentarians also debating the Data Protection Bill. It's the first amendment since its creation in 2003. Prime Minister Philip Davis leading off debate on the legislation. He rationalized that with the rapid growth and evolution of technology, this revamp is long overdue.
Every person or organization that handles personal data, whether public or private, must register as either a data collector, data controller, or a data processor with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner.
Well, if you've got a news tip or if you've seen news in the making, call the ION News hotline 397-6397. We also invite you to send your letters to the editor for publication on all of our social media platforms, Eyewitness News Bahamas at gmail.com. And if you're watching on our Facebook or YouTube page, share your thoughts about today's stories in the comments section. We want to hear from you. We're just getting started in Eyewitness News tonight, but when we come back, the latest on government's solar farm here in New Providence. We've got that story coming up. And later tonight, a former member of Parliament and the son of the late Archbishop Drexel Gomez, he reflects on the life of his father. We've got more on that right after this break.
Hello, bonjour, hola, hello, ciao.
No matter where your passport takes you, BTC roaming keeps you effortlessly connected. Enjoy seamless calls, lightning-fast data, and affordable roaming across the globe. No SIM swaps, no stress. Just one network, working everywhere. So go ahead, explore the world, and still be just a call away from home.
Fill up box for all $30.
The new KFC fill-up box, serving 6 juicy pieces of chicken, 4 buttery biscuits, crispy fries to share, and 12 premium original recipe KFC nuggets, all packed into one crave-worthy box. So dig in and do whatever the crunch you want with the KFC fill-up box. Only at KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Are you searching for something new? Something exciting? Your dream job in paradise? Well, look no further. Royal Beach Club Paradise Island is hiring. Join a dynamic group of passionate hospitality professionals, craft unforgettable moments, and thrive in a vibrant, welcoming atmosphere. Play your part in shaping the future of our team while growing your own career every day. Bring your energy, your passion, and your creativity to a workplace that's as dynamic and fun as you are. At Royal Beach Club Paradise Island, the opportunities don't just exist, they're limitless. So are you ready to find your perfect fit? Visit Royal Beach Club at paradiseisland.com/career today and step into a world of exciting possibilities.
One item? Are you tired of limited choices? I'll have the one item on the menu, thank you. Wow! So many choices. Why settle for less when you deserve more? When it comes to the ways you pay, the more, the better. With a variety of payment options available, you can enjoy the freedom to choose what works best for you. Choose freedom. Choose flexibility. Choose from the full menu of payment options. The future of pay is digital.
Hello, bonjour, hola, hello, ciao.
No matter where your passport takes you, BTC roaming keeps you effortlessly connected. Enjoy seamless calls, lightning-fast data, and affordable roaming across the globe. No SIM swaps, no stress. Just one network, working everywhere. So go ahead, explore the world, and still be just a call away from home.
This segment of Eyewitness News is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division.
For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back. Here's a look at your Eyewitness News gas tracker. $5.48 at Esso and Rubis, $5.55 at your local Shell. Your Eyewitness News gas tracker. The latest gas prices tonight. Well, we have some breaking news. This just in. Eyewitness News understands that the PLP's candidate selection committee, wrapping up just moments ago, selecting Sebastian to carry the party's banner for the Fort Charlotte constituency. Senator Barry Griffin also vying to represent the party in that area. The outgoing MP Alfred Sayers endorsing Bastian last week. We understand that ratification is expected sometime this week. Bastian expected now to go head-to-head with former Bain and Grantstown MP Travis Robinson, a seat to watch as our election coverage ramps up. Well, the country's push toward renewable energy gaining momentum as work continues on a 20-megawatt solar farm in the Blue Hills Power Plant, a project led by Incorporation Bahamas in partnership with BPL. Its president and CEO, Owen Bethel, says crews and equipment are already on site as the company moves into the site development phase. The project expected to come online by early 2027. It will feed directly into BPL's grid, bringing the capital one step closer to a cleaner, more reliable energy future.
About to start the groundwork for that. It's a 20 megawatt solar farm, basically, and so that will feed into the grid of BPL and hopefully provide some consistency of supply of electricity for the island of New Providence. It's one of three, and so hopefully by time as all three are on board, BPL should be in a great position in terms of stability for the grid and the provision of energy to the island. The timeline for the actual operation, coming into operation, is about 18 months from start. You may recall that we signed the power purchase agreement in March of this year. Our staff and the equipment is already on the ground. We've cleared the property, and so we're looking probably at another 12 to 16 months of actually build out and coming into full operation before we can commission the facility, right? So again, you're looking probably early 2027 for that, right? All being well, we may be able to open the end of 2026, but we'd like to think certainly by the first quarter of 2027.
The solar farm is a major piece of BPL's plan to generate 30% of the country's power from renewable sources by 2030, a goal officials say will reduce fuel costs and stabilize power rates. Vince Pedikin, the managing director of Eco Energy Bahamas, also advancing its solar farm project in Coral Harbor, another partnership with BPL. It's aimed at expanding renewable energy generation here in New Providence.
All right, so latest updates. We're currently in the process of our pre-construction activities. So we started clearing the site over at the Coral Harbor area. So we have 93 acres to clear. We started at the southeastern part of the site. So if you're driving down Carmichael Road heading toward the Coral Harbor Circle, you'll see a lot of clearing taking place on the right side, just above the circle. So we're with our teams, with our contractors and our civil engineers. We're in the process now of site clearing, getting the land prepped for construction activities.
Conversation underway as health leaders and experts converged at the Margarita Resort for the 16th Caribbean Conference on National Health Financing Initiatives, a three-day forum aimed at shaping the future of healthcare across the region, hosted through a partnership between the National Health Insurance Authority and the University of the West Indies Health Economic Unit. Christy Butler, CEO and Managing Director of the National Health Insurance Authority, speaks to its importance.
When we look at the disease burden in country and the need to provide access to care for our citizens, we have to answer the question of how do we finance health care? And so NHI is taking the proactive step to host this conference to meet with leading minds in the region to discuss how do we achieve sustainable health financing for the people of the Bahamas and also the region. We're excited that this year's theme focuses on technology and digitization. NHI started our journey digitizing in 2019 with our electronic health record. So today really is the culmination of the work that we do in the health financing space, and also how technology can help us to be more efficient and to manage the costs related to healthcare.
With obesity rates rising steadily in several Caribbean nations, experts warn that the region faces a looming health crisis unless action is taken both at the policy level and the ground. And according to conference coordinator, the conference is aimed at smarter health financing powered by real-time data, which he says could make all the difference.
Spoke about the health challenges with obesity. That's one which is very common in almost all the other countries in the Caribbean. And so there are measures, there are programs which are developed in other countries which can be shared, which can be approached and adapted for the Bahamas. We speak about the issues with health financing, and all other Caribbean countries are struggling with the same concerns, and by sharing we can understand who is doing something that seems to be more innovative, that seems to be more solution-oriented, and by sharing this knowledge, by sharing the skills of the persons in the Caribbean, we can all do better with health in the region.
Also in attendance at the conference was the Minister of Health, Dr. Michael Darville, sharing some significant insight about the direction of healthcare in the Bahamas. He stressed that the Bahamas is at the forefront of improving primary care services across the nation with a focus on accessibility, quality, and also care.
Well, the Bahamas, I'm pleased to say, is trailblazing in the Caribbean. We've launched universal primary health care, and a couple months ago I laid in Parliament the new bill, which will take us to where we need to go to ensure that healthcare services are provided in a more strategic and a more diverse way, where we will expand universal primary healthcare coverage, where Bahamians will have access to more diagnostics, more labs, and to make life easier, particularly for those in the family islands.
Darville's remarks also underscoring the government's long-term strategy, early management, and invest smartly before introducing more advanced or costly healthcare infrastructure as rising healthcare costs and an aging population elevate the push toward primary care.
Well, you know, the new bill lays the foundation, and we're getting closer. The first thing we have learned from our healthcare planners and our advisors is you must get universal primary healthcare coverage right. Because when you begin to roll out more complex, more expensive packages like catastrophic care and the full basic package, the financial burden increase. And so our key is to basically get universal primary health care coverage right so that early detection of diseases. And so we save a lot of money down the road, and that is where we believe the cost savings will come.
Stay right with us. Our Laurentia Smith has a check on sports right after this break. Good evening, Laurentia.
This September is the September to remember at Conrad Bahamas. Get 30% off all windows and doors all month long. We carry Hurricane Impact sliding windows and doors, Hurricane Impact casement windows and doors, as well as PVC windows and doors. Whether you're upgrading for style or preparing for hurricane season, now is the perfect time to save. Visit us today and take advantage of our biggest savings of the season only at Conrad Bahamas, exclusively at our locations in Freeport, Nassau, Abaco, and Eleuthera. Conrad Bahamas. Dream, design, deliver.
It's the glitziest night in agriculture, where roots run deep and the spotlight shines bright. The Agrarian Awards 2025 takes center stage on Saturday, October 18th at the Atlantis Paradise Island Grand Ballroom, and you need to be there. Presented by the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources and the Agricultural Development Organization. Get your tickets now at adobahamas.org or call 397-7400 for more information. The Agrarian Awards 2025, planting with heart and soil.
Come and visit us at Shop Smart, 'cause everything is here.
Yes, we have it all for you. Toys, clothing, office supplies, appliances, custom cut blinds, bedding, drapes, and rugs. Come and visit us on Mackey Street, 2 blocks down from Wolf Road. Call us at 698-1052.
Shop Smart, Shop Smart, Shop Smart. Oh, everything
Junkanoo Group is celebrating 25 years of music, and you're invited to the greatest show ever. Counting down the years, performing hit song after hit song. Stevie S, Colin McDonald, KB, Dyson Knight and D-Mac. Saturday, November 1st at the Farm Marshall Road, 8 p.m. until. Tickets can be purchased online at www.bahamaseattickets.com for your skybox or to be a food vendor. Call 424-6433, 477-0191. Sponsored by ZNS, Island Luck TV, The Farm, Gatorade Today and Co. Limited, Kristen Minute and Associates.
Stop, man, stop. But it's hot today, boy. Wait. You see that? Mm-hmm. That's snowing. I can cool off, man.
Where you going? Get back here. Don't go in there.
I can inside there.
I can cook whatever you want tonight. Where you going?
You can do what?
I can cook whatever tonight.
I forget you can't cook.
Step out the heat and enter Skypole. Expert installation, cool comfort, and reliable service. Brought to you by Discount AC and Supplies. Your one-stop shop for top-tier AC units.
Ever feel like you're missing your own life because you're constantly running off to the bathroom? Do bladder leaks or pelvic discomfort have you up at night and affect your confidence in everyday life? Those days are over. At Frequency Vitality Center, we offer a solution. Completely painless, fully clothed with no downtime. Perfect for men and women of any age, we help strengthen the pelvic floor muscles while you sit comfortably, improving bladder control, decreasing night waking, and much more. Strengthen your foundation and restore your confidence.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
Things may be tough, but Wendy's got you covered. Grab a Dave's single or chicken sandwich with a junior fries and 16-ounce beverage for just $6.95. Why choose less from the other guys when you can get more? At Wendy's, we're providing bigger bites and better deals. So purchase your Things Tough Value Meal today. Now available at all locations excluding the airport and food truck.
Running out of space? We've got room for that. Welcome to Skyline Storage, your trusted self-storage solution. Skyline Storage offers units from 5x10 to 10x30, climate controlled or standard dry. Perfect for home or business. Located in Westfield Commerce Park, Western New Providence. Your belongings stay safe with gated access and 24/7 surveillance starting at $175 a month. Reserve, pay, and move in online. No phone calls, no paperwork. Visit SkylineStorage.com. Skyline Storage. Storage made simple.
Eyewitness Sports is brought to you by 103.5 The Beat.
Welcome to another edition of Eyewitness Sports. I'm Laurencia Smith. Thanks for joining us. Topping sports tonight, we're on the basketball court. Bahamian Collegiate head coach, Yo-led coach Yo McPhee-McEwen is gearing up for her 8th season at the helm of Ole Miss women's basketball program. As the beginning of the 2025-2026 season nears, the Ole Miss women's basketball program continues to gain national recognition as the Rebels were voted the 12th ranked team in the nation according to the preseason edition of the AP poll.
You know, I stand here with great pride and saying that I'm undefeated right now, but the journey has been one of ebbs and flows. On a serious note, it has grew me up. This league is not for the weak. They take no mercy on you, so I don't remember anybody feeling bad by beating me by 60 and 50 points when I first started. And it gives me great pride now that our program is where it is, and we're looking forward to continue to grow.
Ole Miss returns 3 letter winners from last season's Sweet 16 squad, a team that notched at least 10 conference wins and 20 total victories for the 4th straight year. The Rebels enters the new season projected to be finishing 6th in SC standings. While the team bids farewell to key veterans like Madison Scott and KK Deans, who completed their eligibility, Coach Yo has reloaded with 9 new faces ready to make their mark in Oxford.
Yeah, you know, at Ole Miss, we don't really replace. We kind of try to reload. You know, we lost Shakira Austin, and everyone said, how do we replace her? The next year, we go to the Sweet 16. You know, Madison Scott and KK Deans. And, I mean, we graduated 6 players. And they're all right now playing professionally. Our focus was just reloading with what we felt like we needed. With the return of Sirachinu still being on the team, Christine Walla, we felt like we had 2 core starters, and we wanted to build around that. And I thought with the help of my administration, we were able to put, I guess people say, the number 2 portal class in place, and just looking forward to seeing how we mesh.
Meanwhile, Bahamian track star Devon Charlton capped off her 2025 season with a strong performance, finishing 4th in the women's 100-meter hurdles at the Ethos NYC meet over the weekend. The all-women meet lit up the Big Apple, uniting some of the biggest names in track and field for a powerful showcase of womanhood strength and excellence in the sport. The Bahamian indoor and outdoor national record holder closed out the year with that 4th place finish in the Big Apple, clocking a time of 12.71 seconds, following a solid 6th place showing at the World Championships in Tokyo, Japan. Now, Charlton opened her season on a high note, successfully defending her world indoor 60-meter hurdle title over in China. Well, that's what's making sports at this hour. I'm Laurencia Smith. Stay tuned for more news on the other side of the break.
The faculty, staff, and students of C.R. Walker Senior High School kicked off the school year with an inaugural prayer service.
The theme for this morning's service, coming from Psalm 33 and 12, says that blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. The people he has chosen as his own inheritance. This scripture not only reminds us of the benefits of having a relationship with God, but it's a call for us to rely on God, who is the master and sustainer of all.
Prominent religious leaders, including the Right Reverend Leish Boyd, Archbishop of the Anglican Diocese of the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, delivered a prayer and words of encouragement to the school body.
As you strive to be the best person that you can be, let God be your Lord. The psalmist wasn't just trying to base our time when the psalmist said, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Because the psalmist knew what many of us know, and that is that God is the beginning and end
Assistant Director of Education Michael Comer reminded the students of their purpose during the academic year.
And the goal of the Ministry of Education is to ensure that we provide a quality education, access to a quality education, so that the end product of our education is globally competitive, productive citizens.
Jonalie McIntosh for Ed Talk.
Welcome to Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods. Taste the difference.
Crack the code and win $1 million. Crack the code and win $1 million.
7 numbers, $1 million. Every 3 days, a number is revealed. Act fast, your million is waiting.
Crack that code, win $1 million clear.
Crack the code before the last lock clicks shut. Get ready to join the winner's circle only at islandluck.com.
Crack the code and win $1 million.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Well, that wraps up news at this hour. Coming up and beyond the headlines with Shanique Miller. She has the latest breaking news out of the PLP's Candidate Selection Committee meeting that wrapped up just moments ago. It's a show you don't want to miss. That's coming up and beyond the headlines. It starts right after this. That does it for us here at Eyewitness News. It's certainly been a pleasure having you in our company tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Janae Nawal saying good night and be safe, everyone.
We all know there are ways we can help. Your help can go even further. Be an everyday superhero. Donate to Hands for Hunger.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay eatin' well.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
We all know there are ways we can help. Your help can go even further. Be an everyday superhero. Donate to Hands for Hunger.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay eatin' well.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space? thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, this just in. Information coming into the Eyewitness newsroom that the Candidates Committee of the Progressive Liberal Party has just selected Sebas Bastian as the potential candidate for the Fort Charlotte constituency. We'll talk about that and some of the other hopefuls who are interviewed at PLP headquarters this evening. Meanwhile, a showdown on Bay Street for a second time in 1 week as the BUT and the BPSU, with their members in tow, protested against not being paid last month after a national public service salary review. The question tonight, where and were there missteps in the process? Why are the unions angry? We hope to get to the bottom of that for you this evening. And later this evening, the University of the West Indies is here to talk about its 19th Research Days Conference. It's all straight ahead for you this evening. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along tonight. It's the first time that any government has made an attempt to right-size public service workers' salaries. Before now, there were salary adjustments and reviews, but done individually at individual government agency. That is until this national salary review for the entire public service, about 17,000 or so workers we're speaking about, undertaken by Prime Minister Philip Davis. Well, we're going to get into this evening and find out exactly how this went left, why it went left, and was there a need for it to go left? Former labor union leaders, now leaders in the Labor Relations Unit, Bernard Evans and Paul Maynard, join me this evening. Gentlemen, it's good to have you both here. Good evening to both of you and welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Good night, sir. Good to be back.
I'm surprised to find out that this is the first time this sort of exercise, not the first time of adjusting public service salaries or even reviewing, but that the entire public service at once has been has undergone the salary review on this scale. Was this just too ambitious an undertaking by the Prime Minister?
Well, Sadiq, if you know the Prime Minister, I think I've never met someone with such a heart and understanding the salaries of where public servants were. And when we came into the picture, I'm talking about the Labor Relations Unit, we all came from quasi-government, Paul coming from BPL and myself from BTC at the time, who at one point we had tea ladies, not to throw off on them, but whose salaries were near $38,000, $40,000 per annum. And coming into the public space and seeing the salaries of PSs and some of the well-qualified, I'm talking about people with master's degrees or what have you, whose salaries, I think, starting salaries in some cases are around $26,000. I just couldn't believe it.
At that senior level?
Yeah, at that senior level. And this is what we saw in the public service, and so I think we recognized that the brain drain, pretty much, that people just wanted to get out of the public service, qualified personnel who just wanted to get out just for the attractive salaries and benefits that they can find elsewhere in other quasi or in the public service. And so the Prime Minister got to work. We mentioned this to him. As a matter of fact, when we came into this space, we told him that we were never going to take off our union hats, that we're going to negotiate for workers as if we are negotiating for our own members once we got here. And so ambitious, I don't think that's a good word to use. Compassion maybe is the better word to use. He saw that something needed to be done. To do it now, however, the whole process started. I never thought it would get to this. I never knew that.
Right, because when you all say, you know, PM, look here for a second. We come from the quasi-government sectors. And we know what the salaries are there. They are handsome salaries and excellent benefits. And when you all stepped into this labor relations unit and really saw for yourselves truly what, as you said, permanent secretaries and directors and the like, and those senior level, what they made, and some of their salaries weren't reviewed for quite some time. When you all thought to bring this to his attention and say, let's make this better so that they stop leaving the civil service, did you ever imagine that it would end up like this? And then, if it started off with that group, then how did the entire public service get involved?
Well, what happened was the PSs and the deputy PSs were sorted out because they were saying their counterparts in the corporations were far, far, far ahead of them, which they were. And then in order to deal with the lawyers, the doctors, engineers, and the technical people, you have to send it out to an accounting firm to deal with it. And that was sent out. When it got back, the PM noticed that, listen, the support staff are not on this. This is going.
Meaning the junior staff of the public service.
Correct. Mm-hmm. They're not on this, and that's how when he decided, okay, we'll pay the professionals and the technical people, but now we also need to get the junior staff sorted out as well.
So this is how this huge exercise happened.
Yes.
And so everyone's salary, the entire 17,000 plus of the public service, was then given obviously to the accounting firm to say, hey, listen, how can we make this better at their varying levels?
Yes.
Now it has been said that this isn't as noble as that this is the Prime Minister's and the government's attempt at union busting. In fact, BPSU President Kingsley Ferguson said a couple of weeks ago that the government seems to want to one-up the union. How did you both handle this type of exercise? Yes, it never happened across the board, but it happened in your various ministries where you were union presidents and your agencies. How did you handle this when, at that time, an administration said, we want to improve the public service salaries and adjust here and adjust there? I mean, were you all saying, wait a minute, government, you all came through us?
Let me say this. Another culture shock for me was that I couldn't really understand how the union operated within the public space. The union is sole bargaining agent for its members. So in other words, members give up their right to their salaries, to the knowledge that is of their wages, salaries, and benefits, emoluments, or what have you, to the union. When we came there, we noticed that letters and stuff were put on files, increases were given to staff without the union knowledge. And apparently that was the order of the day for decades. And so it seemed commonplace for the union representatives not to know at times what is going on with respect to increases or what have you. Now, the salary review, to be fair, because we negotiated a recent contract 3 years ago with the BPSU, the salary review was not a bone of contention, nor was an issue when we signed that industrial agreement, because if it was, I certainly would have made sure that it was done. Now, the only place that the BPSU had a salary review of a bone of contention, I think it was the University of Bahamas, and I think they're well on their way of trying to get that resolved. However, going back to what you're asking, how was that done without a union, and they're saying you're trying to up them one? Well, I think the employer or management always have the right to want to do better. I always said that when you have benevolent bosses or benevolent persons or management in charge who want to do right by their workers, you would find that you don't need union in those spaces. Unions come out of the belly for agitation when they feel taken advantage of or underpaid or what have you. In this case, ever since we began this process, the Prime Minister wanted to meet with all the unions to say, listen, give us 3 years with this industrial agreement. I'm going to give you all at least 7 increments, because there was a pause on increments. And so he quickly reinstated increments, the annual increments based on performance, and gave an additional 4 increments and ensure that the scales would open up to accommodate those additional increments. And so on average, every union within the public service and even quasis recognized an average of 7 increments, 4 plus the 3 annual increments based on performance. And
this has happened.
This has happened. And so we made sure that no union could say that they have not been getting received their increments based on those over the last 3 years. So on average, when you look at it, people average 2.5 or 2.3 increments per annum. So if I were to place that anywhere from a figure perspective, you're talking about $3,500 over the last 3 years compounded that they have been able to receive on their salaries as a result of our negotiations. So having said that, though, going back to the Prime Minister, didn't want to stop there. He just wanted to continue to raise the salaries. And let me just add this last thing too on this, and I'll let Paul chime in. What I'm saying the Prime Minister also wanted to do was, again, fortify and solidify the middle class. And that has been
we know that inflation has been an issue.
Right.
I've been hearing that and trying to obviously afford Bahamians, the average Bahamian family, an opportunity to be able to, again, afford living in this country, buying groceries and taking care of their families. Paul, I want to ask you, you experienced a similar type exercise. Yes, it wasn't this sort of wide scale across the board thing, but it happened with your union and your union members at BTC at the time.
No, BEC, yes.
Yes.
And it was the whole corporation.
Yes.
Everybody went through the exercise. And they started with us, and then they went to middle management, and then they went to executive management. It was done, it was corporation-wide. It happens, and it's encouraged. We encouraged it because we wanted more. And they said the only way this is going to happen is we bring in an accounting firm and they deal with it. And it was done by KPMG.
Mm-hmm. I think this one is being done by who? Or was done by Deloitte & Touche.
Yeah.
Okay, now, here's the thing. Now, you gave an order a moment ago, and see, this is another bone of contention as far as I'm aware and I'm hearing. You said it happened with you all first, then the middle management, then executive.
Yes.
Well, a part of the issue here is they're saying, well, why are you stopping the senior staff?
Because
And the senior staff are making all this money with all these perks, and you stop with them and not the woman who held up that was crying even. Say she's a janitress. And was she getting paid? She has one deduction, which is excellent, Mom. That's wonderful. It's good that you seem to be managing your money well. But she is saying give her money.
Yes, but see, it was done wrong then, because you should start at the top and come down. Mm-hmm. That's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to start at the top. Once they get it in, middle management should reflect off that, and then we should reflect off middle management. That's how it's supposed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So Deloitte was doing it in the correct way.
Yes. Now, I want to ask you all, the salary review report was released last night. It was done so that the nation, the Prime Minister said, listen, you all be the judge. There it is. Read it, study it, understand it, see that there's nothing being hidden, there's nothing untoward. Were you both able to look at that report? And what do you make of it?
I was able to look at the report. The report is not readable, easily understood by a novice. And so, like I think Paul alluded to it earlier, the report initially was for, I think, middle management and up. I think when the Prime Minister saw that, he said, no, what happened to the bottom, right? We got to make sure that they're done. And so, if you've ever seen the salary book in the public service, you're talking about thousands and layers and layers and layers of salary scales and job descriptions and job labels and what have you. And I think they were able to apply, I think, there are 3 matrices that were used by Deloitte just for speedy resolution to get it done. And I think the price index, the consumer price index, I understand what was used. I could be corrected
so that also
on that. Yeah, but I think going by the price index, you're talking about inflation and all that stuff. And I think coming out of this, I think the members of the BPSU and all of the public service who will be impacted by this should be a little bit satisfied. They may not get all of what they anticipate, but I know that something significant should be added to their salary, and that is the key. Added to their salary, not so much of a lump sum that people always like to talk about. Because at least if someone's added to your salary, that is forever.
Right.
And it
that you build from there. Instead of the lump sums that by time the lump has summed on your account, you doggone looking around to see where it is. But that's been another issue as well. They're saying, why couldn't we be paid in September? What is this December about? So, gentlemen, why the 3-month wait?
Well, we don't want to preempt the Prime Minister as tomorrow he meets with McPhee, I believe.
He is. He is meeting with Stephen McPhee of BEMU and the other teachers union president.
That's correct. Yeah. And so, we don't want to preempt him in his way of thinking and what he's doing. I guess he'll get to the public and tell them why it happened, et cetera, et cetera. So, we don't want to preempt him in any way.
But it's important too to mention, and let me just say this is crucial too, and I'm glad, we have to be very careful, and I think whoever the technocrats are doing it, for instance, you have the principals or those represented in BEMU. I think their categorization, where they are, their job title, commensurate across the board, who they should be pegged with, that was left out. And so that needs now to be corrected, and perhaps now it may result in maybe their salaries being
Stephen
looked
did
at.
talk about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he did talk about it, and he's happy that, listen, he's getting that meeting and being able to speak with the Prime Minister one-on-one so that they move forward.
Right.
He and his membership move forward. What do you want to say to the Bahamian people tonight? What must they understand? And our union tactics and all of it, is it, I don't know, is it time for sort of a new set of tactics?
Paul, you speak last. Let me speak of this. I just want to mention something because I see a lot of people like to throw off on the memorandum of understanding the union side.
Yeah, that MOU. Look at you, Bernard, how you can shift from the question the host asked.
But hold on, but you all know what the people, like, I think it's important because somehow we are labeled, when I say we, I'm talking to me too, as a union person. Like I said, I've never took off my hat as a union. I'll never take it off for what union represents. When we sat together, when I was head of the National Congress of Trade Unions, Obi Ferguson, he's still head of the TUC, right? We got every affiliate to have 2 representatives on our subcommittee to come up with the memorandum of understanding. That means we had Bahamas Air pilots, nurses, doctors, teachers, every facet of workers, bankers represented, putting together that document. Every union had 2 persons, someone who's always substantial and a designate. To throw off as if we are somewhat got swing or hoodwinked over, or someone pulled the wool over
So
our
hold on,
eyes.
the Prime Minister didn't one-up you all.
No, he did not. Let me tell you what.
The Prime Minister didn't have you all sign that and then toss it away?
But Shanique, no one can. Let me tell you what. We took that document and we sent it to each of the political parties, their Secretary General, not the government. We took it to Lincoln Bain and COI. Lincoln Bain didn't even bother to meet with us. He said, I endorse it. Everything you all have in there, I agree with you all. I support workers. We took it to Carl Culmer, who was then the chairman of the FNB, I believe. He said that they were going to get back to us, they didn't have time or whatever it was. Fred Mitchell, who was then the chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, was saying, well, we agree in principle, but there's some things in there that are of legislative nature that we can't just willingly agree to some of them. Let's meet and sit down and go through the document. I just want to say this. That document, no one disagrees with the tenets of that agreement. And every union should want to have some input in how the country is governed, because you talk, all of us are workers. And whatever policies, whatever legislation is used to fortify and protect workers' rights and guarantee certain protections, we need to do that. Because if there is a bill that needs to be carried by this country when we're in debt, I would never have a problem if the debt that's being carried or being serviced is directly due to the salaries and the benefits of each Bahamian working in this country.
Right.
Whether you're the professor of UB, or whether you're a doctor, or whether you're the sanitation worker.
Absolutely. Paul, jump in real quick.
Well, Shanique, listen, we are where we are, and I believe that this too will pass. It's going to get sorted out at the end of the day. People
Workers will be happy.
They'll be happy.
That's the bottom line.
Yes.
Workers will be happy.
That's correct.
And so this was a good thing.
It was, yes.
You and Bernard weren't trying to trick nobody. This was genuine and a thought.
We have excellent relationships with the union leaders. We can pick up the phone and call them, they'll answer, and they come to us. We sort their problems out. That's what we have for in the unit.
Yes.
And you know what? And we want to say this openly, and I think no union president, if they will be honest, and I think all of them are, for the most part, honest. All of them are honest, let me say that. This relationship that we were able to forge with the Prime Minister and with the Minister of Labor, now we have access that if they want to, they can meet with the Prime Minister if he has the time to meet with them. And the exchange that they have with him is such a refreshing engagement. This man would try to give you, as long as they can afford it, he would check with the FS or whoever is responsible for the finances to ensure that it can be carried. Mm-hmm. And if it can be carried, it is yours. And that is the one thing that made us successful in signing the amount of contracts that we've signed. And if you go back to these clips...
Bernard, I invite you back.
Yeah, please.
I invite you back to the show.
Right. If you look at these, every time we sign a contract, you would hear every president still say this is one of the best contracts they've ever signed.
Yes. Listen, gentlemen, I thank you both. I want to hear more. The nation wants to understand this better and know more, and also to really truly understand, were these union, were they tricked somehow or misunderstood this thing, or was it an intention to one up them? I thank you both so much because you both are veteran in the industrial relations field. Obviously, you continue to wear that hat and in a different capacity, and so you're covering everything. And I thank you for being very open and frank this evening here on the show. Bernard Evans and Paul Maynard, thank you both so much. Don't go anywhere. Beyond the Headlines is back right after this. We talk about that and Sebastian after the break.
Welcome to Blissful Escapes, where luxury meets affordability. Whether you're seeking relief from aches and pains or simply looking to indulge in some well-deserved pampering, relax and detox in our infrared sauna. Enjoy a soothing Swedish massage or an invigorating exfoliating body scrub. We also provide advanced facial treatments using cutting-edge technology, including hydrofacial, microneedling, and microcurrent therapies, located at the shops of Cable Beach Plaza.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
Welcome to Blissful Escapes, where luxury meets affordability. Whether you're seeking relief from aches and pains or simply looking to indulge in some well-deserved pampering, relax and detox in our infrared sauna. Enjoy a soothing Swedish massage or an invigorating exfoliating body scrub. We also provide advanced facial treatments using cutting-edge technology, including hydrofacial, microneedling, and microcurrent therapies, located at the shops of Cable Beach Plaza.
Ever feel like you're missing your own life because you're constantly running off to the bathroom? Do bladder leaks or pelvic discomfort have you up at night and affect your confidence in everyday life? Those days are over. At Frequency Vitality Center, we offer a solution. Completely painless, fully clothed with no downtime. Perfect for men and women of any age, we help strengthen the pelvic floor muscles while you sit comfortably, improving bladder control, decreasing night waking, and much more. Strengthen your foundation and restore your confidence.
Running out of space? We've got room for that. Welcome to Skyline Storage, your trusted self-storage solution. Skyline Storage offers units from 5x10 to 10x30, climate controlled or standard dry. Perfect for home or business. Located in Westfield Commerce Park, Western New Providence. Your belongings stay safe with gated access and 24/7 surveillance starting at $175 a month. Reserve, pay, and move in online. No phone calls, no paperwork. Visit SkylineStorage.com. Skyline Storage. Storage made simple.
Crack the code and win $1 million. Crack the code and win $1 million.
7 numbers, $1 million. Every 3 days, a number is revealed. Act fast. Your million is waiting.
Crack that code, win $1 million clear.
Crack the code before the last lock clicks shut. Get ready to join the winner's circle only at islandluck.com.
Crack the code and win $1 million.
Beyond the Headlines is now introducing powerful TV advertising opportunities made just for you. Choose our television ad package, 20 30-second ads for $2,000 or 20 60-second ads for $2,500 plus VAT. Prefer flexibility? Go a la carte. Just $150 for a 30-second ad or $200 for a 60-second ad. Step into the spotlight with our interview package. 1 15-minute interview for $500 or 4 for $15 per month. Or bring Beyond the Headlines directly to you with our live on location package, only $2,600 plus VAT. For more information, contact our sales agent at 242-466-6173.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, more on today's union protest. Education Director Dominique McCartney-Russell revealing a total of 36% of teachers were absent from classrooms today in connection with the protest we talked about in the first segment of tonight's show, a figure that represents 1 in 3 educators across the country, particularly here in the capital, where the protests impacted, or the impact of the protest was felt the most. Well, we're going to jump right in, right there. I mean, you know, the teachers around the nation, some schools had to be let out early. Many others were still in school, but just obviously having to do much more because many teachers didn't show, or percentage of teachers didn't show. So, gentlemen, I want to bring my panelists right in right now. Leslie Miller, good evening to you. Ellington Ferguson and Michael Turnquest, good evening to all of you. Let's just jump right in. Certainly the kind of impact that education doesn't need at this point in this nation's ongoing evolving.
Absolutely, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. Good evening, Shanique. Education definitely, especially public education, don't need this kind of interruption right now. This is a most unfortunate set of circumstances during this time. Should not have happened. I'm very disappointed in the manner in which it has happened. I think the Prime Minister has sat with the union. He's invited them on a holiday when everybody else is taking off. Here is a Prime Minister who's committed to the process and invited them to come to a meeting. He held to his word. They had the meeting and they were supposed to go back the following day. I think discussion in good faith. You cannot go back out of a meeting and issuing threats and stuff like that. I think if the Prime Minister had done that, on the other hand, a lot would have been said. I think it's very unfortunate. I know there's grievances. You got your misunderstanding. There are things that the union expressed that they wanted to know. Obviously, I'm sure that they would have gotten it. They got it last night during the national address. And they were supposed to go when they were supposed to return the following day, which was Tuesday, to continue the discussion. That is very, very, very unfortunate. I think the office of the Prime Minister still need to be respected regardless of who it is, whether it's a Free National Movement administration or Progressive Liberal Party administration. That office needs to be respected. And I support the Prime Minister in that he decided, no, I will not sit with a meeting with persons attempting to bully or to lash out. That's not the way you hold discussion. If the Prime Minister was not meeting and they were not at the table, I would understand the union's position. But the whole disruption of school and the whole aggressive wording of it just wasn't called for.
Michael, your thoughts on how today played out, and whether it's the early dismissal of schools, whether, of course, what took place on Bay Street and second time in the space of 7 days. Your thoughts?
Shanique, the one that suffers most is the little ones of our nation that we want to see succeed and really to they are the future, and it's sad to see that this has affected them greatly. We're hoping that we don't go back into this anytime for the rest of the year. But I can also understand, we've always said over and over that, our teachers are the backbone of this country, and we need to ensure that we invest in them. I think all governments have played around with this, with the teachers, that being the teachers that, because we have seen over and over decades where we continue generation after generation where the grade levels in our schools have just started to deteriorate. And I don't know if it's because of the salary, I don't know if it's because of the talent, but I think this is something that needed urgent attention decades ago. It's now coming, we've now seen it coming to a head, whereas emotions, I saw a a salary. I don't know if it was a teacher salary form that went out, making some $20,000 a year.
It's a janitress. It's a janitress. And I'll tell you, now that you brought that up, the public service does an amazing set of things. And I'm not saying she should make that or shouldn't make it. Make as much as you want, ma'am. But I want to say, in the public service, I understand monthly there's an email sent out with training opportunities to upskill. How many of these public servants, because now after all of this, you better show up to work on time and get the work done properly. Public service and customer service must match what it is that you're all rowing and carrying on about. I mean, because after all, with a genuine attempt, as far as I understand it, and I tried to reach out to Kingsley Ferguson yesterday and today, so this is not me trying to push one narrative, but we heard who I believe are two independent labor relations individuals who are former union presidents speak here this evening and talk about that it was initially their idea. Listen, let's see if we could up the salaries of the senior staff, because they are miserable where they were at, and they were leaving the system. And the Prime Minister said, no, let's include everyone so that there is no issue and that everyone has this boost in salary. And so the thing is, though, what are you doing to further help yourself along? That is important, Michael. You can wrap up your point before I bring Leslie in.
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, we've seen or heard, I think I've heard governments talk about bringing quality, that being in terms of bringing the brightest minds into the government sector. But the only way that's going to happen if the salary scales match that of the levels that you're bringing, the persons that you're bringing in. And that's what's lacking in the government system. It's lacking for some time. We've seen other countries take on that approach, whereas though they've actually paid the proper salaries and they've gotten the brightest minds to come in and help to basically modernize the sectors within these government agencies. But that's gone. I think inland revenue, we've seen a change that has happened over the years.
Yes.
But that has to continue on throughout and trickle on right down to all of the other agencies, whether it's social services, education, and all the others.
What I saw today on television, many aspects, it really sickened me. The Prime Minister made an offer to the union. It was not negotiated. He said because of the difficult times that we are facing, especially with the cost of living, food store rents, decided to give an increase. And all of a sudden, the union members believe that they had the right to it. It wasn't negotiated. He made an offer, say, listen, October, I give you all an increase after that study was done. He came back and said, listen, we can't do it now. We do it in December. And all hell break loose. For what reason? Now you see why our kids having a D minus average. Because the teachers today didn't give a damn about their welfare. And mothers and fathers had to go pick up their kids today are mad as hell. Because it's unfair to the kids. I mean, you go in my office and you meet with me on Monday, a holiday. We tried to come to a consensus. We didn't. Said, okay, let's meet Tuesday then. Then Tuesday night, Monday night, you go on television and tell your people, get ready for tomorrow. Meet at 9 o'clock on Farm Road and we go downtown to march. That's putting gun to the man's head. What you expect him to do? You are head of your union, he's head of the government. You got to do what you got to do, and of course he got to do what he has to do, except he has to do on behalf of all of the Bahamian people, and not just your union people. I just thought it was great. And then the situation with the CIO leader and the FDM leader was so disgraceful. I mean, he went into the guy's face, called him a druggie, a nobody.
I really didn't want to repeat that.
But
Leslie.
I had to, because this man has children, He has a family.
Yeah.
And the letter, 2-bit, like Lincoln Bain, drag him down to that level. This is the guy who may be the next Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And this is one who wants to be. And acting like street thugs, man. It was disgraceful. The world sees that. 2 whistles are there. Look, looking at these guys. We got to do better than this, man. Got to do better.
Yeah, tempers.
Please try to do better.
Tempers unnecessarily ran high and obviously spilled out and out of control. Absolutely. Gentlemen, we could talk about that all evening, but I'm going to move this along. Sebas Bastien reportedly got the nod from the candidate selection committee this evening, putting him one step closer to securing the nomination for the Progressive Liberal Party in the Fort Charlotte constituency. Gentlemen, your thoughts about this? Of course, the PLP this evening had what they call an interview process before the selection committee. And so a number of persons, Robert Caron, who I understood showed up there with a whole live performance and all the rest of it, and people from throughout Michael, I understand, showed up from Michael today there at PLP headquarters, and others were there to be interviewed as well. But this is the biggest news. This person for sure knows that he's a step closer, Sebas Bastian. Your thoughts about Sebas Bastian and how this is looking and how he is looking as the PLP's potential candidate in Fort Charlotte?
Shanique, I think Sebas is a wonderful gentleman. He'd make an excellent candidate in the Fort Charlotte area. I think he can really make a difference in that area. And it speaks volume when we see this cadre, this quality of candidates putting themselves forward for the Progressive Liberal Party. It speaks volume as to what people believe that is happening, what's going on in the Progressive Liberal Party. And so I commend him and I congratulate him. And like you said, he's one step closer. Once you've been selected by the committee, it's just ratification and he's there. I'm positive that Sebas can secure the seat for the Progressive Liberal Party. I'm sure he'd be a wonderful candidate whether he was in a Free National Movement or any other party. I think he'd be a wonderful representative for the Fort Charlotte community. I think Fort Charlotte is going to see some really good representation.
Michael, your thoughts?
Shanique, it's good to see, we always talk about young people stepping up to the plate and actually representing whether it be constituencies or for parties, but also good to see that we have someone that's a businessman.
Yes.
A successful businessman that is, who has done very well in all different sectors of business, to really put their foot forward and said, hey, I'm ready to step up to the plate. I've made millions of dollars in almost everything that I put my hand in, and I want to now help carry this country to the next level. I think that's what we need to see all throughout our country. We need to see more young people like this. Sometimes we get tired of the lawyers running our country or not making the right business ideas or not looking at it from a business standpoint. And I think a lot of our ministries, we have to start looking at running them like businesses rather than run them like a call. Most of them, some of them are call centers, but we run some things like it's a cash center. We continue to pull from it rather than trying to say make it profitable. Mm-hmm. And I think this is what we need in order to kind of pull us out of what we see ourselves in and start running our country like it's a business.
People who are experienced and can actually bring something to the constituency level and as well as the national level. I absolutely agree with you, Michael. Leslie, your thoughts? Because
he is a high quality candidate. In fact, I indeed would say he's one of the top candidates that is going to be running for the Progressive Party. He'd be ratified tomorrow. The meeting starting at 6:30 at the Independence Center. He brings a wide array of experience in business, and that's what the country needs. The country is big business. The biggest business in the country is the government.
It's the country, yes.
I'm sure he's going to make a valuable contribution, not only to the constituency, but to the Bahamas as a whole. And I look forward to working with him. I just told him yesterday to drop some of the little rats that's going to be hanging on to him,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Get rid of them, get rid of the hangers on, what I call the rats. Keep them away from your headquarters, keep them away from the street.
I know, but Leslie, now there's always a place for rats.
The place for rats is to get a trap and send them to damn glory, More sooner than later.
Listen to me. Once again, of course, if you missed that, and we will obviously talk about this and spend more time talking about all of the political organizations and their candidates as I introduce at the end of this month a series that will go from the end of this month until election about each constituency, each candidate, and what it is that they potentially can offer that area that they hope to represent. So it's going to be pretty exciting and pretty analytical. And so obviously this is something that we're looking forward to. I thank you so much, Leslie Miller, Ellington Ferguson, Michael Turnquest. Thank you each of you. I need to start getting used to that camera there. I keep saying that for this segment and for giving your thoughts and opinions on the stories that we talked about. Don't go anywhere though. UWI is next. The School of Clinical Research coming up after this.
My My late husband, Tyrone Albury, had a passion for brewing beer at home. We found one of his recipes and we started on the stovetop with 1 gallon of beer. It was a hobby that turned into a passion project that turned completely out of control. We had to make a decision whether or not we were going to continue home brewing or open a brewery. So craft beer is basically brewing a very small batch of beer. Every individual batch of beer is going to be slightly different.
We're always trying to figure out what the next best beer is going to be.
Just the sheer amount of love and effort that goes into every brew. It's a science, really, to selecting the right grains and the hops, and then expanding on some of the normals.
Really, in the last couple of years, we've had a lot more of the locals that have found our location.
They realize that there is a fuller flavor beer out there, and we take pride in that. When we first started the concept of the brewery and we were looking for funding, it was the SBDC that we leaned on to help me push through at times when I wanted to give up, to tell me when I was making mistakes, and for that, I am grateful. So I would encourage all entrepreneurs, if you're looking for funding, mentorship, and encouragement to launch your new business idea, I would encourage you to contact the SBDC.
Are you ready to take the next step in growing your business? Check your eligibility for our guaranteed loan program at sbdcbahamas.com/GLP or call 461-7232 to learn more about how the SBDC can support your business.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Beyond the Headlines is now introducing powerful TV advertising opportunities made just for you. Choose our television ad package, 20 30-second ads for $2,000 or 20 60-second ads for $2,500 plus VAT. Prefer flexibility? Go a la carte. Just $150 for a 30-second ad or $200 for a 60-second ad. Step into the spotlight with our interview package. 1 15-minute interview for $500 or 4 for $15 per month. Or bring Beyond the Headlines directly to you with our live on location package, only $2,600 plus VAT. For more information, contact our sales agent at 242-466-6173.
My late husband, Tyrone Albury, had a passion for brewing beer at
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you tuned in. We're going to shift gears right now and speak with the University of the West Indies and its 19th annual Research Days. You can tell this is a whole lot that's going to be happening, and this event is going to be quite engaging and interesting. I'm happy to have and welcome Dr. Sabreek Sabrika Pinder-Butler, Director of UWI School of Medicine and Research and Family Medicine. She's a physician there. Dr. Darren Holliday, he is the Research Committee Chairman, OBGYN, gynecologist and oncologist. Mr. Alfonso Blake Jr., he is the conference chairman this year's meeting, and of course a lecturer in epidemiology, biostatistics and research. Good evening to all of you. We'll have the other one join in a second, but we're just going to get started first and talk about this 19th annual research conference days. Good evening to both of you and welcome to Be on the Headlines.
Good evening.
Good
Thanks
evening.
for having us.
Thank you.
It's good to have you all here. Tell us about the organization and of course the upcoming event, the 19th annual research conference days.
So, thank you again for having us here this evening. We are proud to be a part of the University of the West Indies, which is a global university of excellence. The university has several campuses in Mona, which is in Jamaica, and our School of Clinical Medicine and Research is actually an extension or a site of the Mona. So we have been established in the Bahamas since 1997, and from that time we have had the privilege to train 4th and 5th year medical students to obtain their medical degrees at home. And so this has been truly a wonderful experience for Bahamians in particular. Since that time of us having a small cohort of students, we are proud to say that we have graduated over 720 new doctors, with 98% of them being Bahamian graduates. And this is from our MBBS program. This year, we were actually even more proud that we were able to report a 100% pass in first-time exam candidates. And so we're very, very pleased of the progress that we've had since 1997 to now. In addition to our...
So the university is showing no signs of slowing down?
Well,
I mean, here or in the region?
No, the region, we continue to blossom throughout the region as well as in the Bahamas. We know that it is important for us to continue to train physicians. And so it's even more important that we have also branched into training specialists. And so we also have postgraduate programs and quite a robust postgraduate training program where we've been able to train 7 specialties: family medicine, internal medicine, pediatrics, psychiatry, emergency medicine, obstetrics and gynecology, as well as surgery. So we know that there is certainly a growing need in the Bahamas as well as globally. And so coming from a university that is global and one that looks at inculcating a spirit of excellence and that has a vision that of excellence rooted in the Caribbean.
It does have that reputation.
Yes, and so we're not just training physicians, but we're also promoting education, research, and service in health and well-being. And so we're glad that we're here today to speak about our upcoming and exciting Research Days conference.
And this is what I want to ask. The next question: what is the research? Because what you're going to spend the days doing research. Like, give us an idea of exactly what is this Research Days conference.
Okay, good evening. So thank you again for having us. It's really wonderful to be here. Research Days was the brainchild of one of our former directors, Dr. Robin Roberts. And he was one of the first research committee chairs. The idea is that after having established a School of Clinical Medicine and Research, how do we showcase our research? How do we showcase what we have learned and communicate it to the wider public and disseminate it to the Ministry of Health? How do we inform all the stakeholders of what we've done so we can influence national policy? So the idea of the Research Day was to showcase what we have learned. Now, initially, the research conference was called Research Day because it was a half day. But as our director, Dr. Pinder Butler, has highlighted, the school has grown to cover both undergraduate and postgraduate training, and as such, the number of projects has grown exponentially. So from a half-day conference, we've now evolved into 2.5 days of conference. And we have to change the name to Research Day. And this year we mark our 19th annual conference, where we showcase all what we have learned. The Bahamas have very excellent researchers. If I could think of our research in HIV, we think of Dr. Gomez, who was a trendsetter in that area, and he had helped to contribute to the international and national protocols with respect to HIV care in the Bahamas. So even though the Bahamas is small, it's mighty. And we usually invite all stakeholders in research in the Bahamas, whether they be doctors, nurses, allied healthcare providers, to share their findings with us. And to honor some of the work done by Dr. Roberts, we have him as our keynote speaker for this year. And we continue to work and disseminate our publications with the Ministry of Health. Typically, we would publish our abstracts in the West Indian Medical Journal and present our findings to the Ministry of Health to help influence national health policy.
Yeah, are people from other areas, wherever there is a UWI campus, going to be attending this conference?
Yes, there will be persons from other campuses. As a matter of fact, one of our speakers for the research workshop is coming in from Mona, and she has a wealth of experience in ethics, ethical submission, and she's coming to present on that and to train our young researchers on that as well.
Alfonso Blake, welcome to the discussion.
Thank you.
So it's good to have you here. It's good to know that there will be other people to just, kind of iron sharpens iron concept happening at this Research Days conference. Let's just talk about when and where will the 19th Annual Research Days conference take place?
So it will be next week, Wednesday, the 22nd to the 24th of October. And the opening night will be at the Paul Farquharson Hall, that's the police headquarters on East Street. And that will have an opening ceremony with the keynote speaker, Dr. Robin Roberts, that night, as well as a panel discussion, and we'll end with a cocktail reception. The following morning, which is the Thursday the 23rd, we'll have a research workshop at 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. at the UWI Mona PMH Research Library. And that will be in person, and we'll have two presenters at that point. Following that, we'll have 2 afternoon sessions from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's on Thursday and Friday. Those will be all virtual, remotely via Zoom.
Now, the theme for this year's Research Days conference, again, this is the 19th Annual Research Days conference by University of the West Indies. The theme is, get this, making the Bahamas healthy again, building on a research foundation. Why that theme?
That's a good question. We have this theme because we want to move towards a more holistic approach to healthcare. Rather than just physical health, we want to think of financial health, we want to think of mental health, and we also want to think of nutritional health.
Yeah.
And we also...
Which is key, eh?
That is key, important.
Nutritional health.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And for that, we also have an invited speaker coming in to speak about that as well, who is a clinical dietitian, to talk about how we can use our regular food to eat properly without going over our budget.
You just listen, that's all that important. You all were here for the first segment. You all heard me talk about the inflation and the public
Correct.
service, and which I know you all ain't here to talk about. I know, Doc, I see you already trying to say, Shanique, what's up? I get it. But all of that is important because even with the budget where you're at, you've got to learn to use that to make healthier decisions.
And that's completely true.
Yes.
You have to.
Yes. Now, is it free? Is there a cost to attend?
The conference is generally free, so everyone is invited to attend. However, the research workshop is the only paid component to that. And it's for $30 for students and $50 for non-students. So physicians, nurses, physiotherapists, anyone involved in research, policy decision making are invited to come to this workshop and for free, except the research workshop. And the opening night is also free. and we have a cocktail reception afterwards for that.
Yeah, let's talk about the networking and collaboration opportunities. Everybody loves a good networking opportunity.
Okay, so thank you for that. But before we move on, this is one of our major continuing medical education events that is put on by the university. So while everyone is free to attend, we have an administrative fee of $100 for those who wish to claim CMEs. But this is a wonderful opportunity to network and to meet researchers and lecturers who are at the cutting edge of medical technology. And for me, I could recall personally, we had an invited speaker, Arthur Porter, who presented a lecture on how we can go from bedside to research and to drug development. And having spoken with him in the sessions in between, he was instrumental in helping me to go away to do further studies in Canada. So it's a wonderful opportunity to network. And though it's virtual, we have virtual chat rooms and other opportunities to network. And the opening night is also a wonderful opportunity to network. And one of the highlights, the research workshop, because it's hands-on and a small knit group, we get to meet individuals who could help us develop our ideas and take them from concept to publication, and which would impact our country in a meaningful way.
So here's an incentive. People would love this. Like if you run a marathon or walk like a 5K, you want to know you get a medal. So get this one. Will the workshop be interactive, and will there be an opportunity for certification? Like when you leave, you are certified in something?
First, I'll answer this certification question. Yes, you're going to get a certificate of participation, as well as you can claim your CMEs. But will it be interactive? Definitely yes. You cannot have an in-person research workshop without interaction. And I think that's a very good space for persons who are interested in research, who has to do research, and that's for all your physicians, all the persons who are doing postgrad programs, all the persons involved in policies, to come out and meet with our dynamic presenters, get to understand how to collect data, how to develop a proposal from which really, so to add this, I can say we have an ethical committee here wherein once you're doing a study, you have to submit a proposal for review to ensure that you're meeting ethical standards. So we are training persons as to how to submit to a committee and what to think about, as well as how to collect your data in a safe and secure manner using a specialized platform.
I think we had a QR code up there on the screen a moment ago. I don't know if y'all want that to hang out there for a while. But is the registration limited, or is it still open and people can kind of just still get in?
Persons can still get in. It's limited for the workshop. We have limited spaces for the workshop. So if you haven't registered as yet, the QR code is on your screen. So please use that QR code to register for the workshop. And as I said, it's going to be very dynamic, very engaging, and we have interesting speakers being there for that.
Now, is there a cost for the workshop?
The workshop is the only component of the conference which has a cost, and that's for $30 for students and $50 for non-students.
Now, people want to know, after they have paid this little fee to participate, and you can see it's rich. This is a different level and different environment, really worth the investment and worth the attendance, right? But they want to know, can they have access to the material? Can they go somewhere where there's perhaps a storage space to be able to watch again or listen and go over some information?
Okay, so since approximately 2015, we've made all our conference material available via our YouTube channel. And to access this, our main website for registration to the conference is at sunshinelearner.com. And you click the link and be taken to our conference site and registration site. The link to our YouTube channel is sunshinelearner.com/YouTube. And that will take you directly to our YouTube page, where you're able to view all our archive material since about 2015 with our stellar lectures and distinguished speakers and professors. So if you miss it, in person or in the cloud on the day, there's still opportunity for you to learn from our event.
And quickly, phone numbers. Any phone numbers that people can call, because sometimes people didn't necessarily want to go online. Any numbers?
Yes, we have 603-011-021. That's 603-011-021.
Say that one more time, slower. One more time.
242-603-011-021.
Okay, you all got that. Use that phone number. This research days is next Wednesday through Friday. That's the 22nd through the 24th. UWI is putting it on you, so you know it's rich. You know it's something to be in the room for. Anybody in the industry, anybody thinking but the industry, students, all the rest of it, certainly register and take advantage of a great opportunity. I thank you so much, Doctor, and I thank you very much, of course, Mr. Blake, thank you, and of course, Dr. Pinder Butler, who was here at the top of this segment. Thank you as well. And also at the top of tonight's show, I thank so much Bernard Evans and Paul Maynard, and then of course my Hot Topics panelists, Leslie Miller, Ellington Ferguson, Michael Turnquest, and in this segment, the representatives from the University of the West Indies. Thank you once again. A big thank you to all of you this evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.